Hello, and thank you for joining us from our studios in Israel. I'm Aaron Porras here with ILTV's Morning Briefing.
Following the United States' withdrawal from northeastern Syria, the region has again erupted into ISIS violence and Iranian expansionism. And while Israeli officials have refrained from publicly criticizing the White House directly, Prime Minister Netanyahu and many others have sounded the alarms, adding that Iran's brazenness in the region is only increasing in the absence of a response. Well, apparently in light of these concerns, General Kenneth McKenzie Jr. has arrived for a visit. General McKenzie is the head of the United States Military's Central Command, or CENTCOM, and this arrival marks the second time in a year, and since ever, that a CENTCOM commander has come to Israel. Typically, Israel cooperates more directly with the United States' European Command. Also, while McKenzie's official itinerary hasn't been released, his visit coincides with recent announcements from the United States' Joint Chiefs of Staff. According to the chairman, General Mark Milley, U.S. troop levels in northern Syria will remain at around 500 to 600. These announcements don't seem like they're directly intended for Israeli protection, though. Instead, to many like the Kurdish forces who are previously allied with the United States, leaving the small force is a betrayal and an insult, especially as ISIS is now seeing a resurgence, Russia's becoming a bigger player, and Iran and Turkey continue to become more aggressive. In the latest series of slaps to the face of the 2015 Iranian nuclear deal, aka the JCPOA, Iranian officials have announced that they are now enriching uranium at up to 5%, with the capacity of rising to 60%. However, the 2015 deal sets the uranium enrichment limits at 3.67%, as that's all that's needed for nuclear power. So once again, this breach reveals a blatant lie. That is, Iran's insistence it does not seek nuclear weapons. Israel, on the other hand, insists the opposite, and an IAEA report released on Sunday actually seems to confirm Israeli suspicions of a nuclear warehouse in Turkuzabad. Israel flagged the site last year, and the IAEA just found traces of uranium. Iran, however, says this is a trap designed by the Zionist regime. And then within just 24 hours of this first major announcement, Iran's state TV reported that construction has begun on a second power reactor at the Bushehr plant in southwestern Iran. Bushehr lies in the banks of the Persian Gulf, and it runs on uranium enriched to 4.5%, which again already is in violation of the 2015 deal. But Iran has made clear that it will not respect the tenets of the agreement anymore, especially after President Trump withdrew the U.S. from the accords and ramped up sanctions, which have since wreaked havoc on the Iranian economy. Iran appears unfazed, though, and is continuing to look for new partners to support its economy, particularly through its oil reserves, which have now been boosted by up to a third with the discovery of a new field. This field is likely the second largest in Iran, and it holds an estimated 53 billion barrels of crude oil. Over a year ago, the United States cut massive amounts of funding from various initiatives that are set in Israel, the West Bank, and Gaza. The idea, in a broad sense, was to pressure the Palestinian authorities into negotiations with Israel, as well as to punish the PA for its continuing pay-for-slay program. But another consequence of this defunding was the closure of dozens of trust and partnership-building groups that bring Israeli and Palestinian civilians together. Well, now, in what looks like one of the first reversals of policy, the U.S. Embassy in Jerusalem has given a sizable $200,000 grant to the Hapoel Katamon Neighborhood League, a soccer club in which kids from both East and West Jerusalem play in harmony. And this year, 51 teams from 25 different schools, including 750 secular and religious Jewish, Muslim, and Christian students, will be empowered to take part in the project. Then, speaking on the grant, U.S. Ambassador to Israel David Friedman says that building bridges between people of different backgrounds is part of the administration's vision for peace, and that the embassy's public diplomacy section supports a wide range of similar projects in many different sectors. Projects like the Good Neighbors Abu Tol, an Israeli-Palestinian group that facilitates kids' sporting events and community beautification projects, and which was also just gifted $25,000. Get your taste buds ready for this next story, because Israel's already amazing culinary scene is about to rise to new heights with the addition of award-winning Philadelphia restaurateur Michael Solomonov. Solomonov, who is originally from Israel but is based in Philly, has just announced plans to become the inaugural member of a new culinary school in northern Israel, the Galilee Culinary Institute at Kibbutz Gonen near Kiryat Shmona. Also, Solomonov will be partnering with the Jewish National Fund and another Israeli chef, Lior Lev Sarkaz, to create the Food and Technology Innovation Center at a cost of $29 million. But with hopes of opening its doors in 2021, the school will host a 4-year accredited culinary program that Solomonov says will combine the unique cultures and cuisines that can only be found in northern Israel. And Chef Serkar said back in 2017 that he always wanted to create a better school for young Israelis to study the culinary arts. So congratulations, because it seems like the dreams finally come true.
That's all for now, so follow us on Facebook at Israel English News and of course on Instagram. I'm Aaron Porras, and see you later with our main daily broadcast from Israel at 2 p.m. Eastern Time.